What's going on YouTube? Jeff Tuffner here on the Glorious Podcast with my Monday Night Raw review. The November 27th edition, the last show in November for Monday Night Raw. And the show was in, I think, Knoxville, Tennessee. It wasn't Nashville. I don't remember where it was. But wherever it was, one thing I do know is the crowd tonight was not great. I can tell you that for sure right off the bat here. And it definitely played a role in the show tonight. A lot of people were really hating on the show tonight. I thought we actually got a pretty decent episode of Raw, better than what I expected. I really didn't expect anything tonight. I really thought tonight was just going to be a big garbage show tonight. I was going to be falling asleep throughout it, but I didn't find myself falling asleep tonight, believe it or not. I kind of enjoyed a lot of things tonight, and I'm just surprised actually how much better it was than I really anticipated. I mean, the main event wasn't great. Whatever that, everything that happened at the end was just weird. I have no idea why. It was one of those scenarios again where we saw them do this a lot back in September, where they were putting on like the main event, the thing that should have been the main event, Roman Reigns and Elias, for example, that was tonight. That should have went on last. I don't know why they put that on at like the 9 o'clock, toward the end of the 9 o'clock hour and heading into the 10 o'clock hour, rather than and then they put on like I don't even know what it was. It was like 4 different matches or something. It was like Kane versus Jason Jordan, then it was Kane versus Finn Balor, and then Braun Strowman comes out and kills Kane. So, I mean, that was just so pointless. They could have just swapped that with the Roman Reigns and Elias thing, and it would have just made more sense. But, I mean, I didn't care for the ending at all, really. I mean, it was cool seeing Strowman come out, though, at the end doing what he does. But, I mean, Jason Jordan. I mean, I'm not even going to get into that because, might as well get into it now because I don't even feel like addressing it as it. Every week I do come on here and complain about Jason Jordan, how he just needs something new. I mean, the guy is just a complete train wreck at this point with WWE, and it's not his fault. It's not all his fault. I mean, his mic skills ain't the best, but I mean, his character is just one of the worst characters I've ever seen. It's just so bad. With the way they try to make you feel like sympathetic for him in a way or whatever right now with the storyline they're doing with the whole knee injury. I mean, it's just bad. It's really like everything they're doing with Jason Jordan right now is not good. And they need to adjust because it's like you think they would push him the way they did everything. I mean they made him Kurt Angle's son. You think they'd push him to the moon, but they ain't doing anything with him. And I mean, it's not working out at all. Tonight was just another example of that. And almost every week has been. I mean, he's had a few nice bright spots, nice matches. I mean, he had a nice match. What was it, with John Cena? I remember that match. That's one of the big matches he's had in his career. I think it was an episode of Raw back in September. I mean, that match was great. He can wrestle. That's the thing. He can wrestle when you give him the chance. But his character is just so bad. He needs like a different character. And I mean, I've been saying turn him heel for months now, but they still haven't done it. We all thought we were going to see it at Survivor Series. Didn't happen. Still haven't seen it yet. Hopefully it happens sometime soon because, I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to adjust to what they have now with Jason Jordan. So yeah, that was the main event. So I didn't care for that much at all, but a lot of the other stuff throughout the show I kind of liked. I mean, the Cruiserweight match. I don't know. I mean, out of all things, I go right to the Cruiserweight match first, which is a rarity. Normally, I barely even mention the Cruiserweights, but this match was good. And this is a match here that I felt like if the crowd were better, it would have been, people would have received this match and kind of like looked at it as a better match. But people weren't really talking about this as anything, mainly because the crowd was kind of really dead during this match. I mean, it's hard to blame them being dead during this match because the Cruiserweights, what do you expect? But I mean, this was a good match. I mean, I was actually like really invested into this match here. It was a number one contenders match, I think. I actually had no idea it was a number one contenders match until the end. But Rich Swann defeats Noam Dar, Tozawa, and Arya Daivari. These guys put on an amazing match, a middle of the show match. It was just a real solid, good back and forth match. I loved it. So, I mean, and normally I don't go right to the Cruiserweights and praise them to start a review, but I'm going to do that here because that was one of the biggest highlights of the night. Just a nice, solid wrestling match, and that's, I mean, normally they gave the Cruiserweights the time tonight. That's the difference. Normally they don't give them the time. Normally it's just, all right, go out there, do this or whatever. They gave them the time. They had a nice match tonight. Hopefully we can get some more of that out of the Cruiserweights because if we can get like a match like that every week, then I'd be totally invested in it. I wouldn't, it wouldn't be like the whole piss break or whatever like it is normally. It would be a nice match to watch that would kind of, take up about 10, 15 minutes of an episode of Monday Night Raw. So if they would just give them the time, I mean, it would work out. But, I mean, this week they did, so they'll probably go back to doing the same shit booking next week, but who knows, maybe they won't. But I went to that first because that was one of the better matches of the night. I mean, one of the highlights, at least in my eyes. Roman Reigns, on the other hand, took on Elias for the Intercontinental title. There was, he was doing the open challenge thing now, so that's cool if he's bringing that back. That adds definitely an extra element to the show if you have the open challenge. So it was Elias. There was many names going around before Raw tonight. There was all these rumors, anyone could be showing up to, answer the challenge. And one of the main ones was Elias too, so it wasn't much of a surprise that he showed up. I kind of saw it coming. I don't know if they're kind of like, I don't know what they're doing here. If they're gonna put like Elias with the Miz Taraj while the Miz is out. I'm pretty sure the reason the Miz is kind of been written off TV in a way is because he's doing it. I think he's doing another movie, the Marine 6 or whatever it is, whatever one they're on now. I mean, they've had 100 of them or whatever. I think that's why he lost the title next week. I'm pretty sure last week rather. I think that's why he lost the title, and they kind of wrote him off TV for at least a little bit. So I guess they just threw the Miz Taraj with Elias. I don't know if that's gonna become like a faction, and then the Miz is gonna come back, and they're all gonna be like a faction. I don't know, but it looks like for at least the time being, the Miz Taraj will be with Elias. And I gotta give praise to Elias though. He put on a good match tonight once again. This guy, I've been giving praise to him. He's, other than Braun Strowman, I've been really liking what I've been seeing out of Braun Strowman. Ever since he's really, kind of took off over the last year or whatever. But another guy I don't mention that much though is Elias. I mean, here and there I'll bring his name up or whatever but he's been doing great. I mean, he's one of the few guys, I say this all the time, that didn't really work out in NXT, but they moved him to the main roster, and he's just been a huge success ever since they brought him up back in April. He has just been a huge success on Monday Night Raw. It's been amazing. He's actually between him and Strowman. I mean, they're the two biggest things going, I think, right now. I mean, Elias, he just does such a good job with the heel role, gets that heat from the fans, and then he can wrestle too. He can get in the ring, put on a good match. I definitely see him being a champion sometime soon. I mean, I don't obviously see him taking the title of Roman. I mean, based on what we saw too after the match tonight with Roman and Elias, it doesn't look like they're gonna go anywhere with maybe a feud with Elias and Roman. It appears we're going to be getting a Samoa Joe Roman Reigns feud, which on the other hand seems somewhat intriguing. Remember, they had a few matches back earlier in the year, but now it looks like we might get a feud for that with them and the Intercontinental title involved, which I like that. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to something like that. I mean, that'd be one of the few feuds I actually could care to watch with Roman Reigns involved in it. But I mean, I'm definitely up for that if they're gonna go that route, which it appears. So yeah, the match though, Roman Reigns picks up the win. Elias, good match, and then obviously Joe comes out after the match. So I like that part of the. I like that. I like the Cruiserweight match. And another thing we have to talk about, I forgot to bring this up. Matt Hardy has finally gone broken in. At least we think. I mean, it's almost obvious as day. I have just been going on rants week after week about how they just need to turn him broken. I mean, Raw needs that extra boost. If they give him that broken character, it will help the show significantly to have that kind of, that part of the show with Matt Hardy, making him relevant again. I mean, he has just been, ever since, him and Jeff Hardy, they were kind of lost in almost the shuffle, as weird as it sounds. Kind of, remember with SummerSlam? They were the first match, they wrestled in front of practically nobody. And then Jeff got hurt, and then Matt was, really screwed because, now there was no Jeff Hardy, so they couldn't do the whole tag team thing, and we were just waiting, when are they going to do the broken thing? When are they going to do the broken thing? We've been saying that week on end ever since they've come to the WWE, back to the WWE, WrestleMania 33 back in April. Finally, at the end of November, it took them this damn long, but they're finally going to go somewhere and do this broken gimmick. At least it appears. I mean, I'd be shocked if they didn't do it, but I mean, it was pretty clear that that's what they're going to do. I mean, you had Matt doing the whole delete thing. I mean, it was obvious that that's what they're going to do. And I think Bray Wyatt's the perfect guy to put him in a feud with this whole broken gimmick. I mean, when Bray was out there talking, I was just like, please, Matt Hardy needs to confront him here. It would make perfect sense for Matt to come out and confront him here, and they could do something with the broken gimmick. I was so happy when I heard Matt's music hit because I knew right away, I had a feeling all right, they're gonna do something. This is obviously gonna lead to something. I just, I'm like, will they actually do the broken thing? I hope. Maybe it will. And then they ended up doing it after the match with Matt kind of going broken. So hopefully this goes somewhere. I'm really looking forward to actually watching this feud. This is, one of the few feuds I could actually maybe get invested in with Bray Wyatt involved in it. I mean, Matt Hardy could definitely make this feud good if he, if they let him go all out with this broken gimmick and let him do some of the crazy shit he did back in, TNA last year and stuff. It would be great. I think just Bray Wyatt's the perfect opponent too. It works out so good there. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And another thing, this is just another factor of how the weak crowd tonight just played a role in it. The crowd had no reaction to when Matt kind of went broken. If they were in another city, I feel bigger wrestling city or whatever, if you would say, the crowd probably would have popped for that when Matt started doing the delete thing. There was like no reaction at all when Matt did the delete thing tonight. I was like really let down there. Like, it just didn't seem right in a way. But I mean, I feel like if they were in like another city, the place would have went nuts if he did that. So yeah, but he's going broken now, so I like that. So I mean, those three things all occurred in like the middle of the show. That was probably the better part of the show. Um, the show opened. I mean, we already talked about Elias and Roman. Set up the whole match and all that. Another match I wasn't too intrigued in, which was actually ended up being an okay match, but it wasn't really much of a surprise, is Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. I said this last week. These teams are back in a feud again. So we're gonna start seeing these one-on-one matches week in, week out. From I don't know how long till, but we saw this back in the summer, before SummerSlam, after SummerSlam, kind of up until No Mercy. They went their separate ways, and now WWE, because they have like one tag, like there's no tag teams on Raw. Or maybe there is. I mean, they got Gallows and Anderson who are doing WWE shop, commercials and stuff. What a waste they've been, because they could be, up there in the tag division. Where the hell is the Revival at? When are they coming back? When Scott Dawson, is he still hurt? I think he's the one who's hurt, right? I have no clue, because the Revival have just had bad luck since coming to the main roster. I mean, they were so hyped up and stuff, and then, I think it was Dash who got hurt, and then he finally came back, and then they went like 2 weeks, and then Scott Dawson got hurt, and then they've been out ever since. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be back soon, but hopefully they are, because, if they can utilize Gallows and Anderson and the Revival, that would add tag teams to the division. A much needed addition to the tag teams on Monday Night Raw, because, are they just going to run, Sheamus and Cesaro and the Rollins and Ambrose program forever? Because it seems like that's the only reason they went back to it, is because they had nothing else in mind. Yeah, but Seth Rollins picks up the win over Cesaro. And then they announced next week that we're getting a tag match, Rollins and Ambrose rematch against Cesaro and Sheamus. Raw, I'm looking forward to Raw next week. They're in Elais, so I mean, that pretty much guarantees that there'll at least be a half decent show. Usually, it's always somewhat good when they go to LA, so that's good news next week. I don't know if that will be the main event or not, but could be a good show next week. I mean, with the Rumble being so far out, it's like they're still almost 2 months away from the Rumble, so. I mean, they are 2 months, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's the 28th of January, the Rumble is, and today's the 27th of November. So, I mean, they have a lot of time. There's no need to start building for the Rumble, really, until, like, maybe the end of December, beginning of January. So, I mean, they could do some crazy stuff over the next few weeks, because they got nothing really to build toward. It's really a toss-up to what's going to happen. It could be complete garbage shows or complete, crazy shows when, you have no pay-per-view really to build up to. So, we'll see what happens next week. It could be interesting next week. It could be garbage. I don't know. We'll see. Women's segment. First of them, Paige and her new friend show up. They got a new name. They're the Absolution. I don't know, just another random name. And then they're ripping off the Nexus, using the Nexus slogan, the old, if you're not with us, you're against us thing. But anyway, they attack Mickie James, Bayley backstage, and they attack Sasha in the ring. They're just pretty much did same thing they did last week again. I mean, I don't know where they're going to go with this. And then later in the night, they actually went out to attack Asuka, but then Asuka kind of just backed down and went back to the locker room. So, I don't know what route they're going with this feud. I mean, they're really building. I like what I saw out of that, though. I like what they're building up, though, with Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville. I like where they're going with it, I guess, in a way. I mean, I don't know, building up as big heels on the show, kind of make, I feel like what it's going to end up leading to is kind of the whole entire division, even like the heels, like, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Sasha, Bayley, Mickie James, all of them kind of like teaming up to kind of go against these three. That's what I could see them doing, maybe. I don't know. I thought maybe we'd see something like that tonight or whatever, but I guess not. Not yet, at least. I mean, it's only been a few weeks since they've all showed up, so that's probably where that's going to go. I really don't know where it's going to go. I mean, it's been rumored, too, that they're going to do the big, Women's Royal Rumble match in January. I mean, I've been saying it, and then a report came out toward the middle of last week saying that it's been confirmed, apparently. So it appears we're getting that. I wouldn't be surprised with all the call-ups, on Raw and SmackDown, too. So, I mean, I definitely see that happening in January. I mean, it wouldn't be much of a surprise at this point. But, yeah, I like that I saw out of them. What else happened on the night? I kind of covered everything. It was a somewhat quick show tonight. It wasn't bad, though. I really didn't think it was bad. It was average, better than average a little bit. I mean, out of 10 rating, I'd probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10 tonight, 6.5, kind of. I don't know why. I felt like a lot of people just were hating on the show tonight. And I'm like, why am I enjoying this a little bit tonight? Like, normally I would shit on a show that everyone else is shitting on, but I somewhat enjoyed the show tonight, which I found weird. I didn't expect. I wasn't even really excited for Raw tonight, too. That's the thing. When I'm never like really excited for Raw, and I'm, usually I just start hating the show no matter how, unless it's like crazy good or whatever. I'm probably just gonna hate the show, But for some odd reason tonight, I wasn't really looking forward to the show tonight, but I ended up actually enjoying it somewhat. So find that weird, but I mean, that's a good thing, I guess. So, but that's basically it though for Raw. I mean, like I said, 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought of the show down in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow right here on the Glorious Podcast with my SmackDown Live review.